with business owners. And I'm here to tell you, WordPress is not broken. WordPress is not broken. WordPress is misunderstood. It's even unknown, but it's not broken. It's not broken. Folks, I couldn't even wait for Monday to go live with this. I had to come to you today. It's Sunday, just got back from church. I can't seem to get this out of my head, actually. Uh, I presented at the high school, and I've told the story online before. I presented at the high school. 60 kids wanted to hear the talk. I was talking about agency life. And as I'm talking about agency life, I say that I work with WordPress. And then I say, by show of hands, how many people are familiar with WordPress? And 2 hands went up. And I said, okay, not familiar. How many people have even heard? How many people have even heard of WordPress? The same 2 hands stayed up. Folks, if kids are graduating high school with an interest in IT and they haven't even heard of WordPress, then how can we say WordPress is broken? It's not broken. These kids haven't even heard of it. So is the marketing broken? Yes, the marketing is broken. Is there internal strife within the organization? Yes, there's internal strife within the organization. Name one large organization that doesn't have internal strife in it, right? Somebody at the bottom always thinks that somebody at the top is an idiot. That's life. That's normal. That's the human condition. And so when we're in our little internal circles and we're on podcasts and we're doing all these things and we're talking with other professionals and we point out things and we say WordPress is broken or WordPress is losing ground or WordPress is, and it comes off in this negative tone like WordPress has failed the pooch or something. It has not. I'm here to tell you from a grassroots perspective, WordPress is not broken. We can complain about Gutenberg. We can complain about what's not in the core. We can complain about Five for the Future. We can complain about different hosting companies. But at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, is WordPress broken? It's not broken. It continues to work. Now, people will argue about the 43% of the internet that we supposedly run, right? But they'll say, hey, the internet's run by 43% of the internet. I mean, the internet is run by 43% WordPress. So they're saying that WordPress runs 43% of the internet. Now, does it run 43% of like equitable internet? Is it a bunch of like weird blogs that haven't been posted on in 5 years? I don't want to get into the specifics. I really don't care about the specifics. My thought is this, and this is where I'm coming from for this whole talk. Friday afternoon, I gave a 90-minute lunch and learn for my local chamber of commerce. And the focus of the talk was WordPress for Business. Now, whenever you create a talk, you usually open up with a couple of simple things. You open up like, so if I'm going to say WordPress for Business, if you're in the agency space, the first thing you're thinking is you're going to cover what is WordPress, what does it deliver, how much does it cost, or what is open source, right? So you might go 2 different ways with that one, right? Is it free, or do you mention open source? That's a thing, right? So what is it? What's the major benefit of it? How much does it cost? And that's going to be your basic stuff, right? So if you've got a 90-minute thing planned, you're probably thinking, you're assuming you're going into a meeting with people that are business owners, that are smart, right? People that have they've done their homework, right? They launched their own business. And so you're going to walk in with some assumptions and you're going to be like, hey, I'm going to talk about real quickly, what it is, what it does, how much it costs. And then we're going to focus on the rest of the talk, which in this case was WordPress for Business. So if I'm a business owner, how can I focus on using this wonderful software tool to be the voice of my company? Okay. So I've got 90 minutes slated. I start off with what is WordPress? Folks, 2 people in the room, again, 2. Now there was only 11. There was only 11 in this talk, not 60, right? But there's 11 business owners there, 11 people in the room. 2 of them were like familiar with WordPress. Like one lady said, "Oh, I manage multiple WordPress sites, but we also have a site in Wix that I can't stand, and so I wanted to come and hear your talk today because I wanted to see what my option was to kind of swap over this one website that we're using Wix for." And so that was one, right? And then there was another lady in the room. Coincidentally, my agency hosts a website for a group of businesses that she's a part of. So I already knew Shirley. So Shirley's in the room. I already know Shirley. Shirley's smart as a whip, right? She's a little older than me, but she's sharp as a whip. And she actually helped me. She gave me some digital assets for the other website that we had built that we're running for her business directory. And so she knows what WordPress is. Now, is she an expert at WordPress? No, that's why she's there. She's like, how do we use WordPress for business? That's what the focus of the talk was supposed to be about. Well, here's why I'm coming live to you today. I'm coming to you live because I'm here to say WordPress is not broken. I'll say it again, just for all the people in the back seats. WordPress is not broken. People don't know what the heck it is. They don't know what it is. They don't know where to get it. They don't know how to use it. They don't understand what it can do. They don't understand its capabilities. So when I launched into, hey, what is WordPress? It turned into like a 15-minute discussion just on that. I mean, I only planned 15 minutes for the first three things. And we're on the first thing, and I'm 15 minutes in, and I'm still talking to people. And people are like, well, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense. So we go into, okay, what are the benefits of it? Well, it comes with ownership. What do you mean it comes with ownership? Well, if you host it on Wix, where's that website hosted? It's hosted at Wix. If you're hosted on Squarespace, where's it hosted? It's hosted at Squarespace. If you're on Kajabi, it's hosted at Kajabi. I said, how long did it take for you to learn, Wix or Squarespace or Kajabi or Podia or Udemy or, it started listing off all these things, and I could tell that their heads were starting to spin already, right? And I was like, how long did it take you to learn those platforms if you're on them? And of course it was kind of hard to figure out, they would say. I took me a while to learn it. Okay, well, there's a learning curve with WordPress too. All of them have a learning curve. So let's step away from this weird idea that WordPress is hard and SaaS is easy. All of them. Say it with me. Everybody say everybody. All of them have a layer of complexity that you have to train yourself on, that you have to figure it out, or hire an expert. Why do you think there's so many people that are like go high level experts? Why do you think there's so many people that are HubSpot experts? Why are there so many people that are Active Campaign experts? They're experts because those platforms have a level of complexity. Now, part of the reason I couldn't wait until Monday to start having this conversation was because I got home from church and I had a couple of notifications in my phone, and I swiped for the notifications. And one of them is this lady on X who says that she's built hundreds of WordPress websites. And she says WordPress is the devil. Now, that strikes me as odd. I'm like, let's see what this is about. WordPress is the devil, she says. She's trying to build a new website. She just wants a simple way to build this website. And then she says she doesn't understand. She's on Bluehost, and she's trying to build this WordPress website, and it's so difficult. And her persona seemed agitated to the point of like a crack in her voice. I'm like, is she going to cry because she can't figure out how to make a website? And I thought, and then she said, well, I've made hundreds of WordPress websites, and I don't know why this is so hard. And then she starts to mutter what she's trying to do with the website without saying what she's trying to do with the website. Okay, tracking me? She's like, "Oh, I just need something that people could take courses in. That could be a booking tool. That could track people. That could. I'm like, so you're looking, and the community. I want a portal. She said. I'm looking for a client portal for my clients and my agency. God, there's got to be an easier way. All right. Well, everything that you just described, you could probably do in Sweet Dash. Let's just be real. You could probably do it in Sweet Dash. Sweet Dash allows you to build custom pages inside your platform. Sweet Dash has a way for you to track your team and your projects. SweetDash has a way to do invoicing and contracts. SweetDash has a way to set up booking and meetings and a calendar. SweetDash allows you to make learning and a learning management system that's inside its website. SweetDash has a functioning CRM tool. I've been on SweetDash for years. I use it as my client portal. I'm very upfront and honest about it. Here's something I'm also upfront and honest about. It took what seemed like a Hades decade to figure out how to do what I do with it, and I'm only using probably 10 or 15% of it. It is not easy. See, this is where I got to be clear. When I say WordPress is not broken, I'm not so biased because I haven't used other things. I have used other things. I have lessons in school. I have lessons in Udemy. I have a whole course, a whole series of courses. I have a whole learning track in a platform called Learnupon that I manage for another organization. So it's not that I only use WordPress. Okay, I want to be super clear. I am not that biased. If there's another tool or my client is very strict, like we need to use this, hey, we'll figure it out for you. We'll figure this out. We can work together. Okay. But when I get into these platforms, easy is not the phrase I would give it. Easy is not the phrase. Now, here's where I almost thought we were being trolled on this X post because you just said, I've built hundreds of WordPress websites. Well, what did you build? Did you just build blogs for your friends? Did you just build 5-page marketing sites that were like homepage, services page, about us page, and a contact page? Because you just rambled off like 4 concurrent dynamic functions of a website that you want to build and assume it's going to work flawlessly and be easy. That is where people are confused. They've misunderstood or they just haven't given themselves enough knowledge. So when I say for the thumbnail this, it says WordPress, WordPress isn't dead. Like, WordPress isn't broken. People are misinformed and uneducated. People don't have any knowledge. This lady gets on X and says, I just need a website that I could use as a portal, track some things and courses. I want to just do some online courses and community and booking and I mean, it just went on and on. So of course I responded and I said, well, that's what my agency does. We do this all the time. And that is what my agency does. That's what we do all the time. We build concurrently dynamic websites for enterprise businesses or for startup businesses, but at a smaller scale, right? Do you need a CRM? Got you covered. You need to do online courses? Got you covered. You want to have a membership site? Got you covered. You want to do some community in there? Got you covered. You want to run a full, blazingly great, CRM tool in the back of your own website? Boom. Guess what? We got you covered. Okay. The next thing, would I take a project like that? Would I take something with a CRM, a community tool, an LMS, booking tool? Would probably a shopping cart, right? She probably needs to do a shopping cart too. She's probably trying to sell, coffee mugs and tapestries out of the website too. So she's got all these things that she wants. She has all these like high level expectancies that she wants to put into this simple WordPress website, and then say it's hard. Well, of course it's hard. You're trying to build something that is dynamic on multiple levels. This stems from pure ignorance. There's no other way to phrase it. And then someone did say in the comments, "You're wasting your time. You should just go high level." What? What? That is someone that is drinking some real Jim Jones level Kool-Aid right there. How in the world would I say, hey, sign up for the monthly expense of Go High Level, sign up to figure out how the dang thing works, and then get in there and build something that has no design flexibility, Like everyone that goes to a go high level website or every customer that gets ramroded into some go high level, fill out this form, get added to this membership and go see this thing. Like, yeah, I'm in this thing. Like I know that this is it's like going to it's like running all your events through Eventbrite and wondering why everybody thinks your website is someone else's website. I'm just I don't understand how that even breaches reality. Okay, it's like going into Kajabi. Yeah, you can go into Kajabi. You can build a website. It has courses. It kind of runs like a CRM, kinda. You can do some things in there, but does it have the ownership and flexibility of WordPress? No, it does not. I go back to where's this thing hosted? If I'm on Wix, I'm on Wix. If I'm on Squarespace, I'm on Squarespace. If I'm at Kajabi, I'm at Kajabi. So what do you do when you're not happy with the hosting? What do you do when your website starts to glitch or slow down or do weird things? You call support, you argue with them, and all they do is tell you, well, you're kind of over your user limit. Do you want to pay extra? Because we're not going to add stuff for you, right? Whereas if you're in WordPress and things start to glitch or act weird or slow down, you go, hey, you know what? The project's successful. I'm making revenue with it. I probably need to increase my hosting package, which takes me right back to the lady on X. The lady on X said, I'm trying to build this, you know, multi-dimensional dynamic website in Bluehost. She's probably on the $6 a month hosting plan. You're not going to be able to run a shopping cart, an LMS, a CRM, and all that at $6 a month. There's a reason why Kajabi costs $250 a month. There's a reason why these SaaS platforms cost what they cost because there's expenses in having to maintain and run them. So if you're going to try and run, an LMS, a CRM, and all these things through your website, it's not a blog site anymore. You have now leveraged WordPress into, enterprise level territories with these tools. Enterprise level territory requires better hosting. So you're going to be on something that's 30, 35, 55, 75. I mean, if you got a lot of people, if you got a lot of users, maybe you're on Rapid. Maybe you're on Rapid at $100 a month for hosting. Maybe if it's a real enterprise thing, maybe I'm paying $3,000 a year for hosting. Maybe I'm going to take a look at CribOps. I think at CribOps, I just interviewed the owner for them this week. I'm going to be at something like $350 a month for hosting, right? But it's going to come with the services and the performance that are going to match the needs of the project. That's another blessing for WordPress. It's not a deficiency, it's a blessing. I get to maintain, I get to control the budget of my project because I get to look at, hey, what's my use case? What are my needs? And what kind of hosting do I require for this project? But here's where I go back to WordPress is not broken, it's misunderstood, and people lack knowledge. When I did the talk on Friday, I was kind of shocked that business people had no idea what WordPress was. So I had to explain it. Then I said, it's open source. Who here knows what open source is? One person in the room kind of understood what open source was, but didn't really define it well, right? They brought up another product that was open source and they said, well, it's like this and that's open source. And, you can just kind of download it, right? And I was like, okay, so we're getting close. Let's talk about what open source is. We talked about how the community helps develop it. And then came a whole discussion about that. Well, how does that work? How do people just volunteer for this thing? Why do people help it grow? What's in it for them? How do they support their businesses? If no one's making money, who's making money? It was like this big circular conversation. And I'm like, well, I run an agency and it's buying my house right now. There's ways to make money using these tools, but the glory of it is that the code is open for everybody. Anybody that wants to use the code, manipulate the code, grow the code, customize the code, share the code, you can do whatever you want with the code because it's open source. Try and do that with Squarespace or Wix or Kajabi or Udemy or Podia or Go High Level, right? Open source is an important consideration. So that conversation took another, I'm going to say 15, 20 minutes. Now, remember, I said I had the first 3 sections of my outline slotted for like 15 minutes. And now I'm more than a half hour in, and I'm still explaining what it is and why it's open source and free. It was so weird to be there and go through this. Now, thankfully, I had a pretty full presentation and I was able to grow people through one section to another. And there was a workbook for everybody. And I was very specific. I said, this workbook is meant to go through now, today, as part of this workshop, but it's also meant for you to be able to explore your own situation back at the office. So, take this workbook with you and do a couple of these exercises after the workshop today. So I was able to consolidate the time and kind of a lot for overages there. But what's been on my mind since presenting on Friday is, and I'm going to say it again, maybe I'm just trying to hit the SEO on this one. WordPress is not broken. It's not broken. WordPress is doing a really bad job of making itself known and educating people on what it actually is and does. It was amazing. It was amazing to have the conversation. I told people about the use case of where we took someone that had they had a Keep account, formerly Infusionsoft, and they were paying $7,000 a month for their CRM to Infusionsoft. We built them a WordPress website. We put them on Fluent CRM Pro, and we were able to reduce their CRM expenses for the year by 98%. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Again, WordPress isn't broken. People just don't know what it does and how to use it. Told people about an e-learning project I was associated with where they had 2,000 active users, right? I'm going to say 2,500. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. They had 2,500 users in the system, 200 monthly active users by average, and they were paying $400,000 a year for hosting and maintenance for a custom learning website. I said, we can build something in WordPress that looks better, feels better, gives a better user experience, hosts the same learning content. We can build that whole thing for anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000, and I'm all in on that, right? So when I say $50,000 to $70,000, I'm talking about like building a whole website, using the company's content where appropriate, and migrating hundreds of courses over to the new system. Okay, so it's and remember, this is a company paying $400,000 a year for hosting and maintenance, not for content management, just for hosting and maintenance. Okay, so if we can build them a new website for $50,000 to $70,000, put all of their learning content in there, provide a better website, better learner experience, same reporting, better reporting, and do all that in WordPress, and then look at what their hosting and maintenance is for the following years, they're going to be able to host that website and maintain that website for somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 a year. That is a $395,000 savings annually. Again, WordPress is not broken. It's not broken. People just don't know about it, and they haven't taken the time to become knowledgeable. And so what have I taken away from this? What have I learned? Well, I've learned this. And it's the same thing I learned when I taught motorcycle mechanics, when I taught automotive, when I taught motorcycle mechanics. Now, when I work in the marine industry and I teach boat dealerships how to improve their businesses, we have to go into these talks prepared to discuss the basics, because we make assumptions, we make leaps and bounds in our minds that people are ready for the full conversation, when in reality, most people are not. Most people are not. I will make some assumptions when I'm training a power sports dealer. We have a whole corporate training avenue that we do here at Mañana No Mas. And so I'll be working with a power sports dealer and I'll say, hey, send me over a couple copies of your repair orders so I can see how you write repair orders there. We can critique that and we're going to audit those. We'll go over the results in the next live meeting. And then they send me these repair orders. They're not even legible. Like, how can you charge a customer $2,500 to work on something when they read the ticket and can't even tell what was done? You don't have the mileage off the vehicle. Sometimes they don't have the vehicle identification number. That's real common in the marine industry. In the marine industry, I like them to have the hull number and the engine numbers and all these things, because in the marine industry, all of these things are like components of a vehicle. Whereas, like in a motorcycle or a car, everything kind of is together, right? It's one thing. So in the boat industry, I'll be looking at repair orders, and they don't even have like the hull number or the engine numbers or any of those things. They got like the customer's name. It's like customer's name in a boat. The boat what? The boat what? Like, if the paperwork's incomplete, as a company, you're completely liable for whatever the customer wants you to be liable for, because you didn't document yourself enough to get out of a paper bag. It's the same with this WordPress talk. I went in there expecting that we were going to have a deeper conversation about how to integrate Lifter LMS with business processes. That's what I thought we were really going to discuss. I thought we were going to talk about CRMs or e-commerce or things, and talk about, well, how does that work? And what are some of the advanced automations that we could use? And how does artificial intelligence, layer into that? We didn't really get into that too much. We surface cut that right at the end of the talk. I was like, hey, if you guys need further information, you need to go a little deeper. If you do some homework on this and you realize you need to go deeper, if you need to know how to integrate these types of tools to match your business need, or if you need to know how to integrate artificial intelligence to automate some of these tools to match your business need, we can do that. It's not going to happen here, because this was a basic talk about, what is WordPress. That was an eye-opener for me, because that wasn't really the direction I thought we were going to have to go in, but it was. Friday, I gave that talk. Friday night, I'm sitting down, I'm watching TV with my wife. We have a Roku TV, so we're on Roku, and we're probably watching Tubi or Pluto or something like that. And a commercial pops up, and it's for Squarespace, I believe it was. Yeah, it was for Squarespace. And it was like this over the top, commercial about how easy Squarespace is, and you can get your business online in 15 minutes and blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that's not true. Because here's the deal. Can I get a website up in Squarespace in 15 minutes? Yeah. Is it effective? Does it have good copy? Will it have conversion? Will it be optimized for search engine optimization? No. Can I use AI tools in WordPress and have a fully functioning business website up in 15 minutes? Yeah, I can. I've done it before on these lives. Is it optimized for search engine? No. Is the copy perfect? No. Do I need to change some images? Yeah. Right? Same boat. What's the difference? Well, the difference is in WordPress, I own it. I got full flexibility on design. I can make the website whatever I want it to be. And I have the ability to scale as needed for my company. When I first started talking today, I said I use a platform called SweetDash, and it does this. It does all these things. How many businesses need a portal that does all these things? It sounds good. It sounds like, oh yeah, for this much money, I can get all these things. Okay, but if you only need half of those things, why carry the burden of having all that crap in your website, or tools that you're not going to use, or things that have the chance to fail or cause issues, and you're not even planning on using them? Just build the site that you need. And how do you do that? You go into WordPress, boom, what tools do I need? I want a CRM. Here's what Kurt said. I need to have courses. Here's what Kurt said. I want to have a community tool. Here's what Kurt said. I want to do support tickets for my customers. Boom, we got you covered there too, right? But build the site and scale it for what you want, and then host it accordingly. Give it the server resources it needs to perform well, but don't go broke buying stuff you don't need. And that to me is like the glory and the magic nature of WordPress. So as I close this out again, I'm just going to say, is WordPress broken? No. WordPress is not broken. Is it misunderstood? Are people lacking knowledge? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a whole lot more like it. WordPress ain't broken, folks. And if you're an agency and you're listening to this right now, you might be hearing this and you might be in this circle of people that's saying, Gutenberg sucks or blocks suck or I hate using this or I hate using that. Or maybe you're in that space. When's the last time you downloaded Drupal and used it? When's the last time you took a look at Joomla? When's the last time you pulled down a Moodle website if you're into e-learning and you're like, let me try this Moodle thing real quick and just see what Kurt's talking about? When's the last time you pulled down some of these tools and said, as an agency, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything? And you look at them. You will run back to WordPress, right? Now, are there way too many plugins in the repository? Yes. Are there way too many AI experts that think they need to make a custom plugin for everything else? Yes. However, are there 20 or 30 core premium plugins that you could use as an agency to build a six-figure business off of? So is WordPress broken? No, it's not broken. It's not broken. It's misunderstood, which makes it misrepresented. And that misrepresentation leads to a lack of knowledge. And so maybe it's our job to help educate some folks. Sadiq from Web Squadron. Yeah. Web Squadron does a great job. I love his content later. He's so good at what he's doing. Kevin Geary, you want to jump into Etch and learn something new? Oh my goodness, the Etch is a new world. Etch is a new world for us. And so people that say Gutenberg's broken and I hate it, okay, great. Go check out Etch. Oh my goodness, it's a paradigm shift in the way that we use this platform. Okay, but I go back to the core, right? Is the core of WordPress broken? It couldn't be broken if I can slap Etch on it and do what Etch is doing. We got to be like a whole lot more forgiving and tolerant of what they're building as core. Less complaining, more learning, more understanding, better representation verbally to people out and about. Like I said, when I spoke at the school and I had 60 students in the room, these are high school seniors. Only 2 of them knew what WordPress even was. That's criminal. That's criminal. We run 43% of the internet and less than 2% of the kids even know. Well, I guess more than 2%, right? So at 2.3 or 2.4% know what we work with. So if no one knows about WordPress, this is a weird thing to think about, right? Because if you're in the space, if you're an agency and you're in the space, you think everybody knows about WordPress, okay? But let's be real. I am stepping into the public domain and I am talking about WordPress and I'm getting feedback in real time that says, what the hell is it? Okay? So if no one knows what WordPress is, and these young people don't know what WordPress is, and they're coming out of school and they're interested in working online, but all they've heard is Wix, Webflow, Squarespace, what is it, Ribbit, whatever that's called. Folks, I have a meeting on Monday with a new client. I'm going to call them an agency. An agency in Colorado built them a website on Duda. I was like, well, what the hell is that? So I had to go look up Duda and I had to go look up how it works. And it's very much infused with AI. Young people love this stuff. You talk into a microphone, tell it to build a website. Boom, there's your website. I get it. Okay, now, how do I customize that? How do I tweak the CSS in that and make it designed the way the customer wants it? See, now you bring them right back to WordPress. So this place in Colorado built this guy a website in Duda. And guess what? Now he wants to have a meeting with me about converting and migrating all that stuff to WordPress on Monday. If you know the product, if you know the platforms, if you educate yourself, you'll come to the realization these things are not broken. WordPress is not broken. It's just misunderstood and people lack knowledge. We can fix that. That's our job. Let's do that. Let's do that instead. Let's be positive. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.